Now, I know you all are probably curious about how I managed to escape from San Quentin State Prison. But unfortunately, we don't have time to go into it today. All I'll say is this. On the night my brother and I went over the wall and got into that getaway car, my heart was pounding like it never has before or since. Now, when I finish my book pretty soon about my life, you can read all about the rest of that story. But the subject we wish to address this evening is this. What does it mean in this country to be American? Now, this is a very profound question. If you were to ask the Native Americans, the original inhabitants of this country, they certainly will have quite a different story than the pilgrims who came to this country as refugees, warmly welcomed by the indigenous people, and then stole their land. The indigenous people said this about that encounter. The white man came, a poor, timid beggar, and asked to lie down on a red man's bearskin and to warm himself by the red man's fire. Then he became strong, mighty, and bold, stretched his hand over the whole land, and said it was his. You see, if you were not at the table when white America was conceptualized, then you probably were on the menu. The descendants of Africans who were kidnapped and forced to this country in chains and enslaved have a very different experience of what it means to be an American than those who had enslaved them. If you ask the Japanese who were rounded up into internment camps during World War II, Americans' concentration camps, they too have an entirely different historical experience and meaning of being in America. And now, if you were to ask me, the great-grandson of a kidnapped African who grew up under Jim Crow, which were laws that were on the law books that said that I couldn't eat, drink, sleep, sit, or spend time in certain places, couldn't marry certain people, couldn't buy or rent certain homes or do certain jobs. They were laws intent on humiliating and terrorizing millions of people. They were American laws. Then at age 21, I was sent to prison for a crime I did not commit. My life was threatened by prison guards paid by the American government. Year after year, though I posed no threat and was a peacemaker and educator in prison, I was denied parole for no good reason by the American judicial system. If you ask me what I think it means to be an American, I can tell you this. It's complicated. While America has certainly been a cruel place of genocide and humiliation, it is also a place of hope and activism. It is the geographical home of my family, my friends, and my community. It is a land where my people love, worship, struggle, make sacrifices, and are willing to speak truth to power and to stand up for justice. No, this place called America does not mean the same thing for everyone, especially when we look at it historically. Yes, I was born right here in these United States of America. But Malcolm X expressed it best. Just because a cat has kittens in an oven does not make them biscuits. And just because my forefathers were kidnapped and enslaved, and I was born in this country, does not make me any less African. It's critical that we understand that this concept or this ideal of being in America and claiming to be an American is not a thing or some sort of finished project, but rather it is an ongoing process of various historical struggles of humans trying to expand the parameters of freedom in this country. Our collective history teaches us that America is an unfinished project. Now, here is what America is not. America is not a melting pot where all the races blend smoothly together into one harmonious society. While there is a beautiful side of America, there is also a very ugly side. The beautiful side of America is that it is a multiracial and multicultural society, and the richness of its cultural diversity gives it its unique national character and strength. And the ugly and weak side of America is its deep legacy of racism and its inability or unwillingness to confront and correct its own racist history, to learn from its mistakes and to make things right. I want to encourage and inspire each and every one of you present in this Zoom room to be part of the beautiful side of America that speaks about the pain and ugliness and does not hide from it. Donald Trump, who has made his way to the American presidency, represents the cruel and ugly side of America. And he has awakened the monstrosity that gave birth to this country. He denies that Black lives matter and seeks to resurrect, promote, and preserve America's violent and racist past. Trump sees these challenges to his authoritarian maneuvering as unpatriotic and disrespectful of America's greatness. But what I see as America's greatness is this: the integrity, the courage, and the commitment of ordinary people making tremendous sacrifices for racial and social justice in this country and extending love and human compassion to others who live on this planet. Now, if any of you here are to take anything away from what we share with you this evening, we hope it is the value and the critical understanding that being in America and calling yourself American is a work in progress. And it can only be shaped and realized by how much we are willing to sacrifice and how much we are willing to resist the ugly and how much we are willing to participate in this difficult yet beautiful struggle for justice. Ashe, Hotep.